Don't put it in drive. He's taking off in the car. Stop. Stop. Shots fired.
February 2nd, 2024, Wisconsin. While on routine patrol, Sergeant Bryce LaLuzerne noticed a car. Something unusual was happening on the road, and the officer decided to pull it over. What initially seemed like a simple traffic stop escalated into a chase filled with adrenaline and danger. He followed the car for a while, turning on his police sirens. Realizing the police were pursuing him, the driver pulled over. The officer approached the car, and 36-year-old Lawrence Drennan was in the driver's seat. Sergeant LaLuzerne noticed an unusual look in the man's eyes. When he requested the necessary documents, the driver's movements were marked by panic and fear.
Hello. Should be all good now. Do you got your driver's license on you?
No, I don't.
The sergeant suspected something was wrong and asked the driver to exit the car. However, the driver was uncooperative and tried to flee.
Probably good now. I gotta walk back there and check, but can you shut it off and step out for me?
No.
Why not? Don't put it in drive. Don't leave. Nora 145, he's taking off in the car. Stop. Stop.
This traffic stop escalated into a chase reminiscent of a movie scene. The sergeant radioed for backup, and several police vehicles arrived as reinforcements.
145, we're on the on-ramp to 41, going northbound. It's going to be a single male occupant. He gave me a name, but I didn't get his ID.
The pursuit continued for a while. Then something strange happened. The fleeing driver, Lawrence Drennan, called 911 and demanded that the officers following him leave. He threatened to engage the officers with a gun if he didn't. This threat only exacerbated the situation. A police team threw spike strips on the road to puncture Drennan's tires. The tires burst, sending him off the highway. Drennan got out of his car, and the officers took cover, wary of a potential confrontation. Drennan was walking around in a panicked and anxious manner, holding an object. Police officers repeatedly urged the suspect to surrender.
Hey! Put your hands up! Put your hands up!
The suspect ignored these orders. Furthermore, he was advancing toward the officers and promising to use a weapon against them.
Hey, listen! Hey, let's talk about this! Let's talk about this!
When driver Lawrence Drennan's vehicle was stopped on Interstate 41, the situation was tense. The chase had just ended, and the police car's lights had illuminated the road in red and blue. As the radio announced vehicles stopped, the officers took cover and took positions. Drennan's tires had been punctured by the spike strip, and the rims were scraping the asphalt. The engine was still running. The officers repeatedly issued warnings over megaphone. "Show your hands! Get out of the vehicle!" But there was no response from inside. After a brief silence, the driver opened the door. At that moment, the officers were alert. Drennan emerged from the vehicle, but still refused to comply. According to eyewitnesses and police camera footage, he put his hand on his hip and took a few steps in the officer's direction.
Shots fired!
This gesture was interpreted as a threat. LaLuzerne and other officers simultaneously issued warnings. "Stop. Show your hand." When the warnings failed, LaLuzerne raised his weapon and fired. Several shots rang out. Drennan collapsed near his vehicle. Other officers immediately rushed to the scene, secured their weapons, and secured the area. The first few minutes after the incident proceeded strictly according to protocol. Police checked to see if Drennan was carrying a weapon and called paramedics. An ambulance arrived on the scene within minutes. Paramedics performed CPR on Drennan, who was lying on the ground. But despite their efforts, no signs of life were detected. The scene was cordoned off, and Interstate 41 northbound was closed to traffic. Sergeant LaLuzerne was removed from his vehicle immediately after the incident. His weapon was confiscated, as per departmental procedures, and a crime scene investigator was summoned. The Wisconsin Department of Justice's Forensic Crime Unit arrived at the scene shortly after. Evidence investigators recorded LaLuzerne's weapon, the bullet casings, and the location of the spike strip. Footage from body cams and patrol car cameras was copied and sealed as evidence. The crime scene investigation continued throughout the night using lighting equipment. Drennan's body was removed by forensic teams and taken to the Winnebago County morgue for an autopsy. LaLuzerne was brought to the police station in the early morning and given a statement in the presence of an attorney. A department spokesperson released a brief statement to the press this morning. A suspect has been shot and neutralized, and the incident is being investigated by the Wisconsin DOJ. From that moment on, the incident became a use of lethal force case. The highway reopened to traffic in the early morning hours, but the moments following the shooting have long been debated both within the department and publicly. Over the next few days, local media followed every update. Sergeant LaLuzerne was placed on standard administrative leave pending review. DOJ officials said they were collecting body cam and dash cam footage, examining physical evidence, and interviewing witnesses. The Winnebago County District Attorney's Office would later receive the findings for a final legal decision. Public reaction was divided. Some residents voiced support for the officers, saying highway stops can turn dangerous within seconds. Others called for transparency and demanded that the video recordings be released to the public. In nearby towns, community groups and civic leaders held discussions on police accountability and the challenges of de-escalation during high-stress encounters. When the DOJ released its official findings weeks later, the report stated that Drennan had ignored repeated commands, advanced toward officers, and made threats before being shot. Prosecutors determined that LaLuzerne's use of deadly force was legally justified under Wisconsin law. The decision closed the criminal investigation, but not the public debate. Local newspapers and radio programs examined the outcome, focusing on how incidents like this shape trust between citizens and law enforcement. Commentators emphasized that Wisconsin's independent review policy, requiring outside agencies to investigate police-involved deaths, plays a key role in maintaining credibility and transparency. Social media reflected a range of emotions: sorrow for the Drennan family, empathy for the officers, and renewed discussion about non-lethal alternatives. Experts from the University of Wisconsin said the case exemplified modern policing challenges, where every encounter is scrutinized and recorded, but also guided by stricter oversight than ever before. Within the department, officers underwent internal debriefs, and counseling was offered to staff involved in the event. Officials said such reviews help identify lessons and prevent future tragedies. By spring 2024, the highway had long reopened, but the questions raised by that night continue to echo in Wisconsin's conversations about law enforcement and accountability. If you found this coverage informative and want to follow verified updates on law enforcement investigations, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, and turn on notifications. Independent, fact-based reporting depends on your support and engagement. Until next case, stay away from crime.